This is TWiT.
Anil really wrote a great piece about he calls it the majority AI view. Let me get my mouse working. I have a very bulky mouse. He says, even though AI is the most talked about topic in tech, we are in the unusual situation where the most common opinion about AI within the industry is barely ever mentioned. He says, you hear from the loud billionaires. They get treated as the spokespeople for all of tech. But when you talk to the people who are actually doing the work, the engineers, the product managers, the people who make the technologies, what they say is, he says, what they all share is an extraordinary degree of consistency is their feelings about AI, which can be summed up as technologies like LLMs have utility. I think you're going to agree with this too, Paris. But the absurd way they've been overhyped, the fact they're being forced on everyone, and the insistence on ignoring the many valid critiques about them make it very difficult to focus on legitimate uses where they might add value.
Huh.
That's fair, yes?
It's very fair.
We agree there are legitimate uses. They might add value. We also agree there's a lot of hype and a lot of BS.
There's a lot of hype and a lot of BS. And I think that's the thing that frustrates me the most about this sector is the amount of hype and amount of BS, I think, is really undercutting many of the very useful parts of this technology.
Yeah, I think that's a
good
way
to put it. And
it's
going to, I feel like, over, at the very least, the medium term, if not the long term, harm it in some ways.
Yeah.
I think that the entire tech sector, this sector of tech, would be better served if people were measured and reasonable.
Yeah, I would actually lump in the tech press in general into this because some of the tech press do exactly what Anil is saying here, and with all the hype, and other parts, the critics among the tech press are missing the last bit there, where they don't focus on the legitimate uses. They don't focus on the positive.
Yeah, you can go too far in either direction. Can't
exactly.
You?
It's just all bad, right? To certain critical people. And the other point, I would want to make is to add to Anil's perspective is that the narrative around generative AI is all around chatbots for the most part. And there are some peripheral things, chatbot-like things. They're taking these chatbot technologies and they're building, specific tools around it. But if you look at the research around LLM-based AI, just agnostically across universities and companies, the majority of it has nothing to do with chatbots. There's a lot of stuff going on in medicine, in archaeology, astronomy. There are amazing things happening. You talk about the positive benefits that are being overlooked. That's where you can find it. We just find out what researchers are doing. It's mind blowing, and it's not about chatbots. And so, I agree with this. I think it's a fantastic piece that he wrote here, and it's a very necessary one. And I would also add to this is that there's a strong correlation between the hyping by these leaders in the giant companies and where all the money is going. So AI has sucked all the oxygen out of the technology sector. You go to places where you used to see a wide variety of innovations, product hunt, whatever, and you used to be all kinds of things going on. Now it's just AI this, AI that, AI everything. Now that's appropriate for this show because this is an AI show.
And I think we're very much carrying water for that position that there's hype, but there's utility as well, and that you got to separate the two. And we are not doomers here. Even Paris is not a doomer, but I think we also want to be realistic about what AI cannot do.
Yeah, I mean, we talk on this show and on other podcasts on the TWiT network and in journalism generally, we sort of mix and match, business with technology, with culture, with all these things. But it's nice to separate these, especially on this topic, because the big AI companies, the problem is on the business side. They have borrowed or gotten investment in such large amounts, just tens of billions, soon to be hundreds of billions of dollars, which they have to make those investors whole. And so ChatGPT, OpenAI and these other companies are casting about for how can we make hundreds of billions of dollars on this stuff. And it's really this is where enshittification comes from.
Right.
Where Dr. O is right. Basically, they lure you in with this thing.
Squeeze you.
It's subsidized by the crack cocaine of venture capital, and then they enshittify it by squeezing you, stealing your data, all the rest. And so that's coming with these big companies. And back to the interview we had earlier. Small language models or even large language models on the edge used for business, for particular uses. This, I think, is the bright, brilliant future of this technology. But the enshittification that's coming by OpenAI and the rest is going to be ugly. It's already kind of ugly, and it's going to get a lot more ugly.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this highlight from Intelligent Machines. We do this show every Wednesday. You can watch us do it live. Or, as they say, like and subscribe. There's a link down below. Thanks.